Please put on your suits. Please collect your equipment. The call-up will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You ever seen anything like this before?
This is unbelievable.
Former Facebook Vice Chairman Chamath Palihapitiya has recently been the subject of talk on mainstream media since leaving Facebook and becoming a somewhat whistleblower because he admitted publicly that he knowingly helped create a platform that ignored all the rules of privacy whilst censoring free speech with their own non-legislative policies.
Soul searching are you doing right now on that?
I feel tremendous guilt. I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you as the future leaders of the world to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in.
Facebook has always been at the front lines of controversy, with many lawyers, investors and the users of the platform shaming Facebook for going beyond privacy rights and openly investing into spyware and secret government programs and colluding with international governments.
Facebook is facing another class action lawsuit for allegedly monitoring your private messages, capturing data from them, and then selling them to third-party vendors like marketing agencies, data aggregators, and advertisers.
This is the top 10 apps that watch you. And finally, at number 1, we have Facebook. In 2016, stories started to emerge that Facebook was apparently listening to you, quite literally. There's a section of their terms and conditions that says, we use your microphone to identify the things you're listening to or watching. Based on the music and TV we're able to identify.
Since leaving Facebook, Chamath explains in his own words that he and the team at Facebook created a technology that was capable of programming and manipulating society however they pleased. Chamath says that he has turned his back on Facebook, and he feels tremendous guilt for contributing to the social media giant which he called the beast. Chamath has seen the error of his ways, and now as a billionaire, he wants to give back to the people whose lives he has destroyed, more importantly to the future generations to come. Chamath has been doing a lot of soul searching and has picked up the craft of public speaking, giving young minds and entrepreneurs advice on creating new businesses. Chamath has even publicly stood up against the banks, claiming that it's because of the banks why private companies are put off from going into public trading. Chamath wants to beat the globalist elite banks and be the first company to pioneer going public without the help of the federal banks.
And we had this, there was like a, I did like a chat with Jason Calcanis. And there was a company there who is able to take all of the public CCTV images, process it, and they were able to say, oh, Chamath, in the 2.5 hours you were here, we captured you in 5,000 images across 64 TVs. And I thought to myself, how the hell did they figure? And then I thought, could you imagine what you can do with data like that? Like, that's unbelievable. There's obviously negative connotations to it, but there's some really amazing positive ones as well. I tell people all the time, in this, by the way, getting back to your privacy comment, how do you deal with privacy? And for me, it's like, I don't want privacy. Like, I live such a very standard, straightforward, in my way life.
Yep.
The things that I like, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Right. But the answer then is like, give me your bank account number and
well, there's no money there, so it doesn't really matter.
There's money somewhere.
But it's all in this fund. But my point is like, that
what I mean by transparency is like, you know, if my image is captured 24/7, for me, it's okay.
Well, I've been living that life for 12 years.
Exactly. And now I feel like I've only been living it for like the last year or two.
Yeah.
But I see the upside of that life.
Yeah.
And it overcomes what I perceive to be the downside.
Yeah.
And I suspect that, you know, my kids will live in a world where that conundrum doesn't even exist. They don't even think about it as upside versus downside and why would I. They'll just live in it. And I think that's, you know, it's how like our parents reacted to rock and roll, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's like such a huge generational shift happening.
Absolutely.
And we don't understand it. And that's why we frame it as a choice and how we frame it as a paradox of choice. And it's not true. Yeah. And that's what people don't get. They just don't get that.
This mindset has found what I think is its purest expression in a 2009 interview with the longtime CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, who, when asked about all the different ways his company is causing invasions of privacy for hundreds of millions of people around the world, said this. He said, if you're doing something that you don't want other people to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Now, there's all kinds of things to say about that mentality. The first of which is that the people who say that privacy isn't really important, they don't actually believe it. And the way you know that they don't actually believe it is that while they say with their words that privacy doesn't matter, with their actions they take all kinds of steps to safeguard their privacy. They put passwords on their email and their social media accounts. They put locks on their bedroom and bathroom doors. All steps designed to prevent other people from entering what they consider their private realm and knowing what it is that they don't want other people to know.
It's not true.
If you look at, like, you know, my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years. 3 times, 5 times. It's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed.
The truth is, Chamath is not ashamed of what he done at Facebook. There was no philanthropy behind him leaving Facebook. Instead, Chamath left Facebook because he created his own social media business model called Social Capital, a business model that he envisions will take social media and online gratification to a new level.
I would like us to employ at least 10 million people through the businesses that we have. I would like our businesses to positively affect at least 1/4 of the world's population. And I would like us to have made cumulatively about $1 trillion. That's my 2045 ambition. I think if we do that, we are the modern face of capitalism for the next 50 years.
Chamath himself retracted his statement about Facebook, claiming his trash comment about Facebook was in the context of how it was 6 years ago, but now in 2017 he loves Facebook. Social Capital is a private firm that acquires startup social impact tech companies, with the idea of taking the company into a bigger commercial space. Social Capital would then charge that company over 20% in fees, including payment in stock. The idea behind this model is to invest in innovation blindly, rather than investing in what's already out there, researched but packaged differently. Chamath is not doing this alone. The founding members of Social Capital include Oni Bates, the former president of Skype, Adam Bain, former executive at Twitter, and Chamath admitted that Facebook privately funds his business. Chamath is a venture capitalist. He does not care about Facebook's privacy problems. He also doesn't care about the globalist banks. Chamath only cares about himself and money, a statement that came out from Chamath himself.
They're watching. For years, many people have believed the government is watching the people a little more closely than it should. Then Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks came along. Today we know the government can and has spied on its people. Whether the internet and social media or drones and phone lines, these are 5 ways the government can spy on you, and 5 ways you can combat it. So strap on that tinfoil hat, hit that subscribe button, and prepare to learn some tricks for keeping the government out of your business. On the internet, a lot of people still don't get just how vulnerable they are on the internet. The government thanks you. After all, when you're surfing around and clicking on things, you probably aren't paying attention to whether the site is really all that secure or not. Surely, Microsoft and Google are protecting you from the watchful eyes of the government, right? Wrong. In fact, these large companies often have agreements with various government agencies to ensure easier access to personal information should they want to check in on you. That's right, the government likely knows all about your secret My Little Pony fetish.
It's not true. It just makes me so hot, like so angry.
Chamath Palihapitiya is a man who truly believes in the technological revolution, and with over $2 billion already invested in different businesses, Chamath is looking for the golden grail of technological advancement, where his efforts have given him the title of the Warren Buffett of the social media tech industry. Chamath is not fighting against the globalist, because he is a globalist.
A scientist at the Global Brain Institute says that in less than 40 years, human beings are going to be a totally different species, and that there is a major evolutionary transition happening right now, and that humans will be merging with machines and become cyborgs, or else they won't be able to keep up or understand this complex world. This fits in perfectly with the transhumanist Illuminati agenda, where at some point the royal secret will be revealed. They've solved the problem of death, allowing human beings who accept the cybernetic enhancements to live forever, as they were supposed to in the Garden of Eden before the evil God took away all of their knowledge. But Satan brought you the freeing message. Satan, the Holy Spirit, came to save mankind. That's the major royal secret of the Illuminati. But the transhumanist agenda, which was once largely just considered a fringe science fiction fantasy, is gaining much momentum and has billions of dollars behind it. You may have seen this meme on the internet really depicting what's happened to society. People are de-evolving. Their brains are becoming dumber. Social media has a lot to do with this. The 5 ways social media is affecting your brain, a popular video that surfaced not long ago, where it shows, of course, what many people have suspected, that social media is destroying people's brains, destroying people's social lives, ruining the ability for human minds to commit information to memory, destroying people's attention spans. But the way to solve this is to just go get a neural interface. Just become a cyborg. Let the computers just think for you. Oh, that's right. I mean, after all, you need your Apple Watch to tell you when you need to stand up, or if you need to run faster, if you need to walk faster. You need that Apple Watch heart rate monitor to tell you how much you need to exercise, right? Yeah, or just, skip chocolate cake, or, just cut back or eliminate the high fructose corn syrup cavity-causing crap in a can known as soda to the peon public. No. Scientists have been predicting humans will evolve into a new species. One of the secrets of Scientology is the high-level Scientologists believe that they evolve into a god they call Homo novus, meaning a new type of a human, a transhuman, right? Some scientists have said that the human species may split into 2. Of course, if you just don't accept the transhumanist cybernetic neural interface enhancements, then you're not going to evolve into a god. You're going to degenerate back into a monkey. Oh, that's great. That's even what Ray Kurzweil, the face of transhumanism, says in his book, The Age of Spiritual Machines. He says that at some point you're going to have 2 classes of society. One class who has resisted this technology, and we're just going to have to live on little reservations like little animals, protected by our all-knowing, all-powerful, immortal, cybernetic gods.
It's not true. For me, it's like, I don't want privacy. I don't want privacy. I don't want privacy.
Another part of the Satanic Bible is the Book of Bilal, which means without a master. Is open sexuality. Obviously, that's part of the modern age with hookup apps like Tinder, and we see this in Silicon Valley as well, when the character Guilfoyle propositions another worker named Dinesh to have sex with his girlfriend. Because in Satanism, they advocate sexual freedom. It's a free love concept.
Do you know what compersion is? It's when someone takes pleasure in seeing their loved one gratified by another person. Sexually. It's the opposite of jealousy.
It sounds like it's the opposite of normal. Why are you telling me about this thing?
As shocking as this is, Tara's attracted to you.
Come again?
Yeah, freaked me out too. At first.
I don't like the at first part at all. What are you saying?
Since I abide by the maxim, do what thou wilt, that is the whole of the law. If you want to fuck my girlfriend, I'm okay with it.
Jesus Christ, man. I could barely stand next to you when you're in your towel. I don't want to have a threesome with you.
I'm not talking about a threesome. Listen, I don't even have to be in the room, unless that's better for you.
Okay, no, I don't.
It just makes me so hot, like so angry.
Chamath's story begins in Sri Lanka, where he grew up in a middle-class family. At 6 years old, Chamath and his sisters and brothers, along with his mom and dad, moved to Canada, where his dad got a job in the High Commission's House of the Canadian government. Chamath says his dad lost the job, and the family needed money, so he got into a government computer engineering program, which he himself says that after impressing the boss with his hard work, the boss took him out to McDonald's and bought him 6 Big Mac burgers, and ever since that night, his life would never be the same again.
Freaking out? Well, I can sympathize, but let's think about it this way. When people lived in villages and small towns, everyone knew everybody and what they were up to. So, maybe the internet is the world's biggest small town. By 2011, there were about 140 views for every human being alive at that time. If someone were to come up to you and say that they could give you a cradle-to-grave record of your entire life, would you really be able to say no? Let's think about the positive side of this future. I mean, imagine all the magic you would capture, every spontaneous moment of joy, every laugh, every moment when you met a friend for the first time, kept forever so you can view it whenever you like. And imagine 2 parents taking their kids and showing them that moment when they first met. I mean, any way you look at it, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, all right, well, I really appreciate that so many of you guys are just hanging out with me in our backyard here as we finish off smoking these meats. It's been a pretty fun way to spend the afternoon, and thank you guys all for tuning in. I guess I'll catch you on our next installment of Smoking These Meats.